The friendship between Zara Ojaku and Larissa Davis was one that had stood the test of time. From their high school days through university and even after graduation, they had remained inseparable, more like sisters than friends. After school, they continued to live together in a small apartment in Surulere, Lagos, sharing laughter, dreams, and their struggles with job hunting. Zara had been jobless for 2 years since completing her youth service. Despite countless applications, nothing had come through. Still, she remained hopeful. Larissa, on the other hand, had been lucky. Right after NYSC, she got employed in a reputable advertising agency. Although the job wasn't the highest paying, it gave her a sense of pride and power. One evening, Zara came home with excitement gleaming in her eyes.
Larissa, I heard about a vacancy in a big telecommunication company. My friend told me one of their HR executives is leaving, and they are looking for a replacement. Wow! Which telecommunication company is that?
Larissa asked curiously.
Pinnacle Communications. My friend says the pay is really good, and they are actively looking for someone. I want to apply.
Zara replied, her face gleaming with joy. Larissa's eyes widened in shock. She knew the company. It was one of the biggest telecommunication company.
The company is one of our clients. In fact, I handle their account. I know the human resources manager personally. Will you want me to put a word for you?
Larissa asked. Zara was pleased with Larissa's kindness. She accepted immediately, thanking her. Larissa assured her that there was no problem.
Just write the application letter and give it to me. I will personally take it to the HR manager, and the job is good as yours.
Words couldn't express how happy Zara was. Zara stayed up late that night, carefully writing her application. She even printed it on the last piece of the premium paper she had. The next evening when Larissa came back from work, she handed it to her with deep gratitude in her eyes.
Thank you, Larissa. I don't know what I would do without you.
Zara said happily, and Larissa smiled and assured her that she would deliver it the next morning because she would be having a meeting with the company executives to discuss an advertising concept. But that night, Larissa's smile faded. In the solitude of her room, she read the application letter again and again. HR executive. At Pinnacle Communications. A job that would pay thrice her current salary. The next day, Zara received a call from a man claiming to be from Pinnacle Communications. He said her application had been received, but the current HR executive had decided not to leave the company anymore. She was, however, assured that she would be contacted as soon as there was an opening, which would be very soon. Zara was disappointed but grateful. She felt assured that somehow, she would get a job soon. They had her details and she felt hopeful. When Larissa returned that evening, Zara hugged her.
Thank you so much, Larissa. The HR manager called me. They said they will get back to me as soon as possible. I am so grateful to you, Larissa. I told you, just be patient, okay?
Larissa replied, her voice calm. The following month, she resigned from her advertising job and moved silently to Pinnacle Communications as the new HR executive, the very position Zara had applied for. She was happy. However, she did not want Zara to know that she had changed her job. She had outplayed her friend by lying to her that she had connection in the company and had only stopped her from entering the job, which she did. Now she got the job and her friend was still jobless.
In life, one must be smart and take every opportunity that avails itself. Someone must lose for another to win.
Though she felt sorry for Zara, who was under the illusion that she would get a call from a company that never got her application letter because it was never submitted and had long been shredded in the shredder in her former office, she agreed that life must go on provided she was not the one down. Of course, she arranged the fake call. The call Zara received was fake. It was all arranged by her. At Pinnacle, Larissa quickly built a reputation as a hardworking and selfless employee. She was always doing everything to get in the good books of her bosses. She was always the first to arrive and the last to leave. She volunteered for extra tasks, even when it wasn't her responsibility. She was willing to do all the work and work overtime irrespective of whether she got paid for it or not. There were 3 HR executives and she was the last to join the company. However, she worked harder than the others and she made sure that the bosses saw her efforts, which she executed without complaint.
Miss Larissa Davis is an outstanding staff. She is always up and doing, and that is how I want you all to work. Be selfless.
The HR manager said one day during a meeting. To her bosses, she was a star. To her colleagues, especially the other HR staff, she was a schemer. Ivy, one of the HR staff, noticed how Larissa behaved differently when the managers were around, suddenly helpful, suddenly efficient. When the bosses left, she returned to being distant and unhelpful.
Larissa is doing eye service. Just watch. Let's start giving her our work when the bosses are around.
Ivy whispered to a colleague. And so they did. Larissa became swamped with everyone's work. But she accepted it all. Every completed file, every late-night submission, was a brick in her ladder to promotion. One day, the assistant HR manager who was in charge of preparing salaries for the company staff, Mr. Itam, overwhelmed with work, approached Larissa discreetly.
Larissa, I need your help. Please help me prepare the staff salary payroll for this month. I'm busy, I can't do it. But don't tell the HR manager. It has to stay between us.
Of course, sir.
Larissa said, smiling. She deliberately didn't start the task immediately. She waited until the evening of the deadline. When the office was empty, she stayed behind to work, knowing the HR manager would pass by. He was always the last to leave the office because he always worked late. It was about 7 p.m. when the HR manager was leaving. He peered through the office when he saw that the lights were on. He saw Larissa working and he entered.
What are you doing here this late, Larissa?
Just finishing some work, sir. I have to submit it to the assistant manager tomorrow.
Is it report or something?
No, sir. It is a salary payroll.
The manager was surprised. He came over and took a look at it, then he shook his head.
So he gave you his job to do?
Please, sir, don't talk to him about it. He is my superior and I have to follow instructions from him.
She said sweetly. The manager nodded, impressed and amused.
You're a good staff, Larissa. Keep it up, but close for now. Nobody's here with you and it's not right.
The manager said and she obeyed and went home. She smiled on her way home. Everything was working according to her plan. The following day, she came to the office very early to finish the work. When the HR manager resumed at 7:30 that morning, he was surprised to meet her in the office.
Did you sleep here?
He asked her. He was always the first to resume and he said it was leadership by example.
No, sir. I came at 6 to finish the work. I am done now,
she said. The manager smiled.
You're a good staff and I'm impressed. To think that you're even doing someone else's job for him and doing it diligently.
It's nothing, sir. Sir, please don't talk to the assistant manager about it.
Larissa pleaded again. She didn't want the assistant manager to find out that she already told the manager that she was doing his job.
That means he'll do it again.
The manager said. She shrugged.
I don't mind, sir. He's my boss.
The manager smiled and nodded, then he went to his office. Larissa smiled. She was inching towards becoming the next assistant manager. 3 days later, disaster struck. The staff payroll document that Larissa had prepared went missing. The HR manager had asked his assistant to bring file and the man searched everywhere he kept it but could not find it. He was confused.
What do you mean you cannot find it? Did you prepare the document at all?
The manager asked, annoyed.
Yes, sir, I did. And I put it in my locker.
The assistant said, almost crying.
Then where is it? We have to pay salaries today, or do you want people to start protesting?
The assistant manager was confused. He returned to his office and searched again, but the file was really missing. When he returned to the manager and told him he didn't find it, the manager flared up.
What nonsense are you saying? Do you know you're putting my job on the line? Are you sure you even prepared the document?
The manager asked furiously.
Yes, it was prepared. I was busy at the time and I asked Miss Larissa to help me and she did and submitted it to me 3 days ago. I went through it, filed it, and put it in my locker, but it's not there again.
He said, confused. The manager calmed. He was somehow impressed that the man was truthful enough to tell that the document was prepared by Larissa. The manager called for a meeting of all the human resources staff and told them that they were looking for a document. He did not mention what document. He just said someone took it from the assistant manager's locker. Nobody admitted to have seen it.
We can check the CCTV. You never can tell. Maybe one of the cleaners must have stolen it.
Mr. Dennison, one of the HR managers said. The manager nodded. He had not remembered that the offices were wired with spy cameras. The video was retrieved and they watched it. Truly, someone had come to the assistant manager's office to steal the document. The manager and his assistant were surprised. Larissa was worried as she sat behind her desk, many thoughts running through her mind. Was there truly a spy camera? Did the camera capture anything? She worried about it. She hadn't known that there was a hidden camera everywhere. Larissa sat in her chair, a panic bubbling in her stomach. CCTV? She hadn't known about that. Minutes later, the manager summoned her.
Why did you do it?
The HR manager asked, his voice low but angry. Larissa was speechless. She didn't know what to say.
Huh? Did what, sir?
She asked, pretending not to know what he was talking about. The manager showed her the video and she saw herself stealing the document from the assistant manager's locker. She had been caught. She broke down and started trembling.
I'm sorry, sir. I just wanted to grow. I thought since I could do the work of the assistant manager, I was good enough to be the assistant manager. Please forgive me.
So what was your reason for stealing the document?
That is what I'm saying, sir. If the assistant manager loses his job and you already know I'm competent, you will recommend me for the office.
You want me to lose my job so you can take it?
The assistant manager asked surprisedly. The manager stared at her in disbelief.
I was beginning to think of you as a good and diligent person. I did not know you were overambitious and wicked. If you had succeeded by making him lose his job, you would have also plotted to make me lose my job, so you can take over, right? Now where's the document?
Larissa told him it was at home and he ordered a security officer to escort her and retrieve it. When they arrived at the apartment, Zara opened the door. She was surprised to see Larissa and the company's security officer, who also happened to be the same friend who had referred Zara to the job. Zara was surprised to see her friend and her best friend together. She asked Larissa what had happened, but she couldn't even raise her head to look at her. She was ashamed of herself. Then she turned to ask the security officer, who then explained everything that had happened. Zara's eyes widened. Larissa had never submitted her application. The call she received was fake. She had stolen her job. Zara was heartbroken.
You lied to me.
She whispered. Larissa couldn't lift her eyes. She was ashamed of herself. The file was retrieved, and Larissa was summoned for one final meeting. The HR manager addressed the staff.
What Miss Larissa Davis did violates our core values. She has broken trust, tampered with confidential material, and acted with malicious intent. As such, her employment is terminated immediately.
Larissa was surprised. She had thought the manager would overlook her crime because of the hard work she had put into the company. Tears fell on her face and she wished she had not done what she did. The other HR executives laughed mockingly because they knew she was not who people think she was. The staff members condemned her and some even called her a thief. Larissa stood there humiliated beyond words. She left the building in shame. Zara later submitted a fresh application for the position, but this time through the right channel. She was called for an interview and was offered the job because she was fit in for the position. She was very happy. Zara sat alone in her room one evening and was lost in thought.
If Larissa could betray me over a job, then she can definitely betray me over anything. She can definitely hurt me. We grew up together and she did this to me. I can't stay with somebody as wicked and heartless as Larissa.
She whispered aloud to herself. She couldn't trust her best friend anymore. She moved out of the apartment where she was sharing with Larissa to her own personal apartment, cutting ties with her once best friend. The table was turned now. Zara had the job and Larissa was out of the job. Larissa regretted. She wished she had allowed Zara to get the job while she had remained at her advertising agency, but she had tried to take everything and now, she had lost it all. Larissa was left with nothing, no job, no best friend, no reputation. Greed and betrayal never lead to lasting success. Larissa's downfall teaches that ambition without integrity becomes destructive. She had a good job, a loyal friend, and opportunities ahead of her, but her desire to have it all made her betray the very person who trusted her the most. She even tried to destroy someone else's job just to get ahead but lost everything: her job, her reputation, and her friendship. True success comes through hard work, honesty, and patience. When we choose to grow with others, we build a lasting foundation. But when you try to rise by cheating others, you may reach the top for a while, but you will fall hard and lose everything. Zara, on the other hand, waited patiently, remained hopeful, and in the end, got the opportunity she deserved. Her story shows that what's meant for you will come to you in time if you don't give up or betray your values. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this story. Kindly leave your thoughts in the comment section and also do well to share with your family, friends, in fact all your loved ones. Something good is always coming, so please stay tuned for more interesting and amazing stories from this channel.
Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to Hopela Stories.